just enough so we can see the timestamp. So the time displayed right now in the lower left-hand corner is what, sir?
I believe that's 5:37:54.
And can you describe to the jury what steps were taken to verify the time of this particular video?
The video was viewed live streaming and compared with the time on a cellular phone.
And what about the accuracy of the time?
The accuracy of the time, it was determined to be accurate.
Can you see the monitor okay, sir?
Yes.
And I'm gonna run it through. And at least as it relates right there from the beginning to 5:38:07, what was captured on the video?
What was captured was an individual walking from right to left in the right-hand portion of the screen, walking just past the entrance to 124A Dorchester Street, stopping parallel to the street light there, and then appearing to walk back and into the front entrance of 124A Dorchester Street.
And I'm just going to run it one more time, sir. But I want to ask you one thing before we get started. Remember testifying earlier about the front door to 124 Dorchester Street?
Yes.
And at least as it's captured in this particular video, you described what you call the kick plate on the bottom of the door, that gold or brass-colored plate.
Yes.
Could you see it on this particular video?
You can, when the door, you can see it in the video, and then when the door opens and closes, you can see the kick plate.
And after this video was recovered, were efforts made to reduce this video to a still-by-still format?
Yes.
Or frame-by-frame? Now, having reviewed this video, is there a point in time when any one person comes out of 124 Dorchester Street?
Yes, after approximately 14 minutes, it appears as if two individuals exit 124A Dorchester Street. The first individual wearing a lighter colored top, and the second individual appearing to have darker colored clothing coming out behind the first.
And again, on the monitor at 5:52:01, does that have the same vantage point from across 124A Dorchester Street?
Yes, it does.
And as the individuals come out of 124A Dorchester Street, if they were walking out the front door, do you ever see anyone go to the right towards Perkins Square?
No.
I asked you a moment ago about a frame-by-frame format, sir.
Yes.
And is that what appears on the monitor right now?
Yes.
And starting with frame 60, what does that capture, sir?
The front left portion of 124A Dorchester Street.
And starting with frame 81 through 85, what is captured in front of 124 Dorchester Street?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to these questions. Objection overruled, actually. You can ask the question.
What is captured during those frames is an individual walking from right to left across the front of 124A Dorchester Street.
And do you see the opening to the parking lot area at the end?
And again, jury, you're the one that determines what is in the video or photograph. Just remember that's your job to figure that out.
Do you see the opening to the parking lot area?
Yes.
And the silhouette or the individual that appears, does that figure ever reach the parking lot area?
No.
And as far as right now, starting at frame 193 through 197, what appears right there, sir?
The individual appears to now be entering the front of 124 Dorchester Street after the front door had begun to open from the inside.
And I'm going to advance up to still 354. Starting at still 354. I'm going to direct your attention to the front door area of 124A Dorchester Street, right in this area right here. What's the...
Jury, to the extent there's any labeling on the video about subject or victim, please disregard that. That's not before you. That's not an opinion that you should that should be brought before you. You again, doesn't belabor it. You have to decide. Sir is in a better position than you folks to determine what a video depicts. That's going to be your job because you're the fact finders in this case. No one can take that job away from you. So please, to the extent that videos are labeled subject or victim, please disregard it.
I'm on frame 413, sir. And what time is depicted at frame 413?
I can't see it from here.
If you need to, you can set that with the court commission update.
5:52:01.
And in that particular frame, can you see the kick plate area of the front door?
Yes.
And going forward from frame 413, sir, through 416, what movement, if any, do you know or do you observe in the kick plate area of the door?
The kick plate appears to be moving inward as if the door is being opened from the inside.
And going forward now, sir, starting at frame 429, 460, frame 460 going forward.
Again, it's the area, the frames where the first individual wearing a light-colored top is observed exiting the front vestibule area of 124A Dorchester Street, followed closely behind a second individual wearing darker-colored clothing.
And just scrolling from, for the record, from stills or frames 507 to 513. Is that what you're referencing by the second individual?
Yes.
Detective Sheehan, in addition to the video located at 124 Dorchester Street, or across from 124 Dorchester Street, what other efforts were made to locate and retrieve video?
Canvasses were conducted from the area of South Boston across through to High Park of businesses and traffic cameras in an effort to locate any surveillance cameras.
And just focusing, if you will, for a moment on the South Boston section of Boston, I want to show you this particular map with related photographs. Take your time and let me know when you're done looking at it.
Okay.
And do you recognize what's depicted on this particular board?
Yes.
And what do you see here, sir?
Locations marked by blue cameras of areas where we recovered surveillance video footage.
And is this relegated to the South Boston section of Boston?
Yes, it is.
With respect to this particular map and the photographs associated, is it a fair and accurate representation of those areas as they appeared back on July 23rd of 2013?
Yes.
May this be marked, Your Honor?
Yes.
Exhibit 55, so much, Your Honor.
Detective Sheen, can you see the board?
Yes.
Exhibit 55. I want to direct your attention, first of all, to the area of 124 Dorchester Street. Can you describe that area of the map and the associated photograph, please?
It's the front door of 124A Dorchester Street and a portion of the parking lot adjacent to 124A Dorchester Street.
And the photographs from across the street that are associated with 117 Dorchester Street, what are those photographs of, sir?
The camera is mounted on a pole outside of the parking lot adjacent to 117 Dorchester Street.
Okay. And that particular camera that you just described in exhibit number 55, is that related to the video that you just described to the jury from 124 Dorchester Street?
Yes, one of those two cameras. The camera to the right in that photograph is the camera depicting the video we just viewed.
I want to direct your attention to further down Dorchester Street from 124 in the area of 246, or specifically 246 Dorchester Street. What's located at that particular address?
Bell's Market.
And what was located on the outside of Bell's Market?
Several surveillance cameras were on the outside of. The evening of July 23rd, I had stills that have been taken from the video footage, and within a few days, I viewed the video.
And directing your attention to further going back Dorchester Street to the address 187 Dorchester Street. What's located there, sir?
Casper Funeral Home.
And what's depicted or captured in the photographs on Exhibit 55 relative to the Casper Funeral Home?
The photographs of surveillance cameras mounted on the outside of Casper Funeral Home.
And were efforts made to retrieve any video from the Casper Funeral Home after July 23rd or as of July 23rd, 2013?
Yes.
And was any video recovered?
Yes, it was.
Did you have the opportunity to review it?
I did.
And how soon after you became involved in the investigation?
Within 2 or 3 days.
At least preliminarily, did you have the opportunity to review certain still photographs from that video?
Yes.
Directing your attention to this particular address right here, sir, 51 Telegraph Street. What is the photograph associated with that particular address?
It is the front door of 51 Telegraph Street, as well as a surveillance camera mounted on in the area of the front door.
And that particular address, 51 Telegraph Street, approximately how far is that from 57 Gate Street?
I believe it was 180 yards.
And again, I'll answer the same question. Sometime after July 23rd, did you take the opportunity to measure the distance yourself?
Yes.
Was video recovered from that particular camera?
Yes.
And did you again have the opportunity to review actual video footage in addition to certain still photographs from that video?
Yes, I did.
Lastly, the last photograph associated with this particular exhibit, number 55, is the address 331 East 8th Street. Do you recognize that address?
I do.
And whose address is that, sir?
That is the address for Edwin Alemany.
Fair to say no video was recovered from in or around at least that particular address?
Correct.
Detective Sheehan, relative, I want to start with the Casper funeral video and ask you a couple questions about that. Was there a particular time frame that you were interested in regarding that video?
Yes.
And what time frame was that, sir?
It was the early morning hours from 4 a.m. through to 6 a.m. on July 23rd, 2013.
And as far as that particular location goes, was there one time frame that you were interested in, or more than one time frame?
Initially, there was one, and then we expanded it to additional time frames based on other information that come out during the course of the investigation.
And what did those time frames focus on? What time were they?
In the morning of the 23rd,
Yes, what time frame?
from about 4 a.m. to 6 a.m.
And just generally, sir, I'm going to ask you, notwithstanding the figure that appears, do you recognize what's depicted on the monitor right there?
Yes.
And what do you see?
The front doors of the Casper Funeral Home.
And what, at least as it appears on the monitor, what color do the doors appear to you?
Grayish blue color.
And was that the actual colors of the doors, the color of the doors back on July 23rd of 2013?
No.
And what color were the doors?
The doors were and still are black.
Just jumping ahead a little bit, after July 23rd of 2013, and after you had the opportunity to view this video, what steps, if any, did you take to verify the quality of the color as it's captured in the video?
We did a test sequence where I dressed in clothing similar in color and walked through the video, collected that video with prior to walking through it, having taken photographs of the clothing worn at the time.
And what color clothing did you wear when you did that test sequence?
A black T-shirt and black sweatshorts.
And I'm just going to let this video run through, starting at 4:41:42 a.m. What steps, if any, did you take to verify the accuracy of the time on the Casper video, sir?
Again, when viewing the video live, we would compare it against the time on our cellular phone to confirm whether or not it was an accurate time.
is captured in the video, what's the directionality that's shown on the video, sir?
From the first image to this image is walking from Old Colony in Dorchester in the direction of Perkins Square, towards 124A Dorchester Street.
And at least as it relates to this particular video, does this capture the same area in front of the Casper Funeral Home, sir?
It does, a short time later, yes.
And the short time later, what time are you referring to, sir?
4:56 a.m.
And again, is that showing the same directionality?
Yes, it is.
Detective Sheehan, I want to show you two photographs and ask you if you recognize what's depicted in these two photographs.
Yes.
And what do you have in your hands there, sir?
These are two still photographs from the surveillance cameras that we viewed, one at 4:41 a.m. on 7/23/13, and one at 4:56 a.m. on 7/23/13.
And these were downloaded from the actual video from the Casper Funeral Home?
Yes, they were.
May these be marked as the next numbered exhibits, Your Honor?
This is 56 and 57 so much,
Detective Sheehan, I asked you a few minutes ago, and you described to the jury an area of Dorchester Street where the Bell's Market is located.
Yes.
And was video collected from that particular location?
Excuse me, yes, there was.
And I just want to ask you, what's displayed on the monitor right now?
That is Dorchester Street facing in the direction of East 8th Street.
So is the camera looking up towards the area of 124 Dorchester Street?
Yes, it is.
And I want to show you two photographs, sir, and ask you if you recognize these.
Yes.
And what do you recognize those to be, sir?
Still photographs from the surveillance video that we're viewing there.
And the monitor is stopped at the time frame 5:15:24 a.m. Could you tell the jury what steps were made to verify the accuracy of the time relative to the Bell's Market video?
Again, while viewing the video live, we would compare it to the time on a cellular phone to determine the accuracy of the video.
And was Bell's accurate?
Yes, it was.
And the two stills that you just looked at, those were downloaded from the Bell's Market video At what time, sir?
5:15:22 and 5:15:25.
May these be marked as the next numbered exhibits, Your Honor?
Yes.
Exhibits 58, 59, so marked, Your Honor.
There was another camera that you testified to relative to exhibit number 55, the board with the camera locations. Do you
Yes.
remember that? And do you recall talking to the jury about the camera located at 51 Telegraph Street?
Yes.
And just generally on the monitor, what's depicted on there? I'm referencing exhibit number 1, the folder marked Telegraph Street.
That is Telegraph Street facing in the direction of Dorchester Street at the front steps of 51 Telegraph Street.
Okay. And is that from the camera that's captured or photographed in the front door area on exhibit number 55 that you just described to the jury?
Yes, it is.
And the date on this particular video is what time, sir?
The date is 7/24/2013, and the time is 12:15 a.m.
And were any steps taken to verify the accuracy of this particular video, sir?
Yes. Again, viewing that video live, we compared it with the time on a cellular phone, and that video was determined to be 5 minutes fast.
And the time reflected on the monitor right now would be, at least on the timestamp, 00:15:11 on 7/24/13, which would be 12:15.
Yes.
And your testimony is that was 5 minutes past.
Yes.
The individual that appears on the video, where it's frozen on the screen at 00:15:18, what direction is that individual walking towards?
On Telegraph Street in the direction of Dorchester Street.
And is that towards or away from 57 Gate Street?
Away from 57 Gate Street.
I just want to show you a still photograph, sir. Ask you to take a look at it, Detective Sheehan. Ask if you recognize what you have in your hands there.
Yes.
And what do you have, sir?
A still photograph downloaded from that same video surveillance.
And that was taken from the Telegraph Street footage, sir?
Yes, it was.
May this be marked as the next number?
Yes.
Exhibit 50, so marked, Your Honor.
You had testified a moment ago, Detective Sheehan, regarding some testing that was done, at least as it related to the Casper Funeral Home.
Yes.
The testing that was done, was it limited to the Casper Funeral Home or to other locations that appeared on exhibit number 55 as well?
No, the same testing was done with both the Casper Funeral Home Bell's Market, and then at 51 Telegraph Street.
I'm showing you this board with multiple photographs on it, sir, and I just want you to start from the top left and work your way across, left to right, starting with each row, and let me know when you're done.
On the top left...
Just let me know, look at it
Oh,
first.
sorry. Okay.
Do you recognize what's depicted in these photographs, sir?
Yes.
First of all, who's depicted in these photographs?
Myself and John Green of the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office.
Okay. And at least as it relates to the top two rows, approximately when were those photographs? Approximately when were those photographs taken?
August 7 of 2013 at approximately 5:05 a.m.
And relative to those top two rows, what locations on Dorchester Street are captured there?
Bell's Market and Casper Funeral Home.
And relative to the bottom photograph going on the bottom row, left to right, what area is captured there?
51 Telegraph Street.
And when were those two photographs taken?
They were taken April 16th of 2015.
And are these generally fair and accurate representations of those photographs and yourself as they appeared on the respective dates that you just mentioned? I believe August 7th of 2013 and April 16th, was it?
Yes.
2015?
Yes.
May this be marked, Your Honor?
Yes.
Exhibit 61, so marked.
Detective Sheehan, I'm going to put exhibit, it's now been marked exhibit number 61 up on the easel. Can you see that?
Yes.
Starting with the left-hand top where it says original image, that's you?
Yes, it is.
And the articles of clothing you're wearing, they were what color, sir?
Black.
And that particular photograph is taken where?
In front of the Bell's Market.
And starting, at least with respect to these two photographs, to the immediate right of your image on this exhibit, number 61, who appears where I'm pointing right here in this photograph?
That's me.
Are you wearing the same clothing?
I am.
And who appears in the bottom image? The first image being 5:02:19 a.m. and the bottom one at 5:02:23.
That's me as well.
In the original image, are you carrying anything in your hand?
In that photograph?
Yes.
No.
And when you're in the other two images walking through the Bell's Market, in front of Bell's Market, are you carrying something in this photograph?
I am, yes.
What were you carrying?
I was carrying a navy blue baseball hat.
And the image captured at 5:02:19, is that you walking down away from 124 towards Old Colony?
Yes, it is.
And the bottom image shows you back. It just captures you walking further down Dorchester Street.
Yes.
Roughly, what color does your clothing appear in the two stills taken from the Bell's Market video?
A grayish blue color.
You were wearing the same clothing as you walked through the video, walked past the cameras on that day?
Yes.
Directing your attention further over to the right, do you recognize in this sequence of 6 photographs who the individual is in those photos?
That again is me walking on Dorchester Street in the direction of 124A Dorchester Street.
And at least as it relates to the first column of 3 going top to bottom, is that you starting at 5:05:18 a.m. walking up towards Perkins Square, 124 Dorchester Street?
Yes, it is.
Are you wearing the same clothing in this sequence of 3 photos in front of the Casper Funeral Home as you were wearing in the photograph labeled original image.
Yes.
And in the sequence of 3 photographs, 5:05:18 a.m., 5:05:24 a.m., and 5:05:34 a.m., what color does the clothing appear?
A grayish blue color.
Are you carrying the hat?
I am, yes.
And does it appear navy blue?
It does. Oh, navy blue and that? No.
And lastly, at least with respect to Casper Funeral Home, is there a second sequence of 3 photographs going top to bottom on exhibit number 61?
Yes.
And as far as those 3 photographs go, sir, is that again, did that capture you walking past the Casper Funeral Home?
Yes.
In what direction this time?
In the direction of Old Colony Ave, away from 124 Dorchester Street.
Okay, and those are captured at 5:05:58, 5:06:02, and 5:06:06 a.m. Are you wearing the same clothing that you're wearing in the original image, sir?
I am, yes.
And does it appear black as you're captured walking past the surveillance cameras?
No.
What color does it appear?
A bluish gray.
Lastly, sir, with respect to this particular exhibit 61, direct your attention to the bottom left photograph, the original image. Who appears there?
That's me again.
And what kind of clothing are you wearing in that particular photograph?
I am wearing a navy blue baseball hat, a black tank top, blue jeans, and black sneakers.
And to the immediate right of that, there is a still. Where is that still taken from?
In front of 51 Telegraph Street.
And is that the same camera and security system that you testified to a few moments ago that you had the opportunity to review in the aftermath of July 23rd, 2013?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Does your clothing appear as you're wearing it in the original image when you're walking past 51 Telegraph and captured on the surveillance system?
No.
What's the difference?
The hat, tank top, and at that time I have a black T-shirt in my left hand appear to be white in color.
Say one moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Now, in the aftermath of July 23rd, I had asked you before the lunch break if you had the opportunity to review a certain spreadsheet that was delivered to a detective, Stephen Blair.
Yes.
And do you remember, do you have a recollection today of what information was contained on that spreadsheet?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury?
It was bank activity related to an account shared between Amy Lord and Cindy Lord.
Relative to that spreadsheet, did you have the opportunity to go back, or at some point after July 23rd, 2013, and review certain surveillance footage from any banks?
Yes.
What banks did you have the opportunity to review surveillance footage from?
The 5 banks that were indicated in the activity report relative to that account all had surveillance video that I reviewed.
And would that include the Mount Washington Bank located on Southampton Street, I believe 501 Southampton Street in Boston?
Yes.
And would that also include the Metro Credit Union located on Massachusetts Avenue?
Yes.
Did you also have the opportunity, sir, to review certain stills that were generated, surveillance stills that were generated from those videos?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to the monitor again, sir. And I'm accessing exhibit number 1 in the folder labeled Mount Washington Bank. Can you see that okay?
Yes.
First of all, you recognize the vantage point that's captured on the monitor right there at 6:02:34 a.m.
Yes.
And what vantage point is being shown there?
That's from the Mount Washington Bank, looking out towards Boston Street, Dorchester Avenue.
And did you have an opportunity to visit that particular bank location back in July or on or about July 23rd of 2013?
Yes, I did.
Was there more than one exterior camera located there?
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity to review footage from multiple angles?
Yes.
And again, the vantage point displayed on the monitor right now at 6:02:40. What is the main thoroughfare where the MBTA bus is located?
That's Boston Street coming into Andrew Square.
And is there a vehicle entering the bank parking lot?
Yes.
And what type of vehicle does that appear to be?
It appears to be a black Jeep Cherokee.
In stopping the footage at 6:02:48, 93, what direction is the vehicle, the black Jeep that you described, what direction is it heading in?
It's pulling into the drive-up ATM area, which would be facing out towards Southampton Street.
Relative to this particular clip that's being shown to the jury that you're describing right now, how many transactions did you capture or did you review in this time frame of July 23rd, 2013?
Total or just this clip itself?
This clip itself,
There were several transactions at that location. I believe it was 2.
but accessed by one account?
From one account, yes.
From one account, okay. And right now, do you see at 6:02:53:39 the rear of the black vehicle that you just described?
Yes.
In what portion of the vehicle do you see this, sir?
That is the lower driver's side rear windshield.
And is there a marking in that particular area
There is.
on the lower left?
There is.
Could you describe at 6:02:59:64 as it's displayed on the surveillance clip, what angle that's being taken from?
That is from the ATM machine, the drive-up ATM, facing out towards Boston Street.
How many people right here at 6:03:16:16 are visible in the vehicle?
2 individuals.
And what are their positions?
There's the front driver with the black article of clothing covering his face and what appears to be a dark-colored baseball hat. And then there is the front passenger who's leaning out of the window into the ATM.
And you said this is from the Mount Washington Bank?
Yes, it is.
And just showing you this particular photograph, sir, it's been marked number 46 in this case. Do you recognize that still photograph?
I do, yes.
And what do you have in your hands there?
It's a still photograph from this surveillance video capture.
And is that part of the same sequence of transactions that was captured on the spreadsheet that was shared with you by Detective Blair?
Yes.
Detective Sheen, I want to show you a sequence of 4 more stills, 4 more photographs actually, and ask you to take a look at those, please. Do you recognize these?
Yes.
And what do you recognize these photographs to be, sir?
Additional still photographs from the surveillance video at the Mount Washington Bank.
Okay. And is that in the same time frame as displayed on the monitor?
Yes.
In the area of 6:03 in several seconds, going into 6:04, 12:71?
Yes.
May these be marked as the next number of exhibits, Your Honor?
Yes.
Exhibit 62 through 65 unmarked, Your Honor.
And as the monitor displayed, did the position of the hat change at all?
It did.
In what way?
The operator is removing the hat or lifting the hat off of his head.
And what, if anything, did you note about the design of the hat as it was captured on the video?
At different points, it appears to be a New York Yankees hat with a commemorative patch on one side of the hat.
In showing you what's been marked exhibit number 62, does that capture what you described as the commemorative hat?
Yes.
And at least as it's captured on the still displayed on the monitor, at 6:03:1966, can you see any portion of the individual in the driver's seat, their head?
Yes.
And what type of hairstyle does the person appear to have?
Very close cropped hair.
And is that captured on exhibit number 63, sir?
Yes.
You had described a moment ago something about a Yankees hat.
Yes.
And what did you mean by that relative to the Mount Washington Bank video clip?
There is a portion of the video clip where the NY of the New York Yankees logo is observed on the front of the hat.
And showing you what's been marked exhibit number 64, does that capture the NY logo, sir?
Yes, it does.
May exhibit 62, 63, and 64 be published, Your Honor?
Yes.
And, sir, can you see where it stopped right there at 6:04:05:71?
Yes.
Directing your attention to this area of the monitor right there, the shirt area. What colors do you see there, sir?
It appears to be a,
Just what colors do you see?
it's a greenish color.
And where are you talking about? Can you step down, sir? Can you just point out where you see the greenish color?
The greenish color is located in the lower chest area, and the purple color is located in the middle to upper chest area of the t-shirt.
And the body of the t-shirt appears to be what color, sir?
Black.
Showing you what's been marked. Showing you what's been marked, exhibit number 65. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes.
And does that capture the colors that you just described to the jury
Yes, it does.
on the shirt?
Yes.
May exhibit 65 be published, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm showing you that, or what's displayed on the video is at 6:04:53. What portion of the Mount Washington Bank is captured on the monitor right now, sir?
The entrance located on Southampton Street.
And the same black sheet you described earlier, does it appear in this frame that's displayed on the monitor?
Yes.
You also said you had the opportunity to review certain footage from the Metro Credit Union.
Yes.
And how far is the Metro Credit Union from the Mount Washington Bank?
Approximately a half a mile.
And I'm accessing a folder that's labeled Metro Credit Union from exhibit number 1. And Detective Sheehan, do you recognize what's depicted on the monitor right now at 6:09:38?
Yes.
And what do you see there, sir?
That's facing the front of the Metro Credit Union out towards Massachusetts Avenue.
And is there a vehicle that appears to be entering the premises of the bank?
There is, yes.
And what kind of vehicle does it appear to be? Could you just describe it generally?
It appears to be a black Jeep Cherokee.
And what direction of the bank is it heading towards?
It's pulling into the drive-through teller and ATM portions of the bank.
Okay, and again, based on your role in this investigation, were you aware that there were, or are you aware that there was one or more than one camera located at that particular branch?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, I was aware of that.
That there was more than one?
Yes.
I want to show you for a moment what's been marked exhibit number 25, sir, and ask you if you recognize this particular exhibit.
Yes.
And what do you recognize that to be, sir?
Still photographs taken from the surveillance video from the Metro Credit Union on Massachusetts Avenue.
Okay. And at least as it relates to this particular exhibit, what's the time frame displayed right there?
The time frame depicted is 6/11/28 on July 23rd, 2013.
At least as it's depicted right there, can you see some portion of the individual in the driver's seat?
Yes.
And what portion can you see as the video is shot on frame 6/11/39/37?
The front chest area.
Okay. And directing your attention to the head area, what can you see there, sir?
You can see a portion of the head.
I want to show you a still photograph. Ask you. Ask you if you recognize this still photograph, sir.
Yes.
And what do you recognize that to be?
It's a still photograph from the surveillance video depicted on the screen.
Okay. Take note of the bottom right-hand corner. Is it the same time or a different time? What's on the screen is 6/11/39/37.
On this photograph is captured at 6/11/39/57.
Okay. And directing your attention to the head area, what can you see on the head area of the person in the driver's seat?
You can see a baseball hat facing with the brim facing forward and what appears to be an article of clothing or mask up over the individual's face.
And is this taken from the same transaction that's being played, part of the video clip being played from the Metro Credit Bank?
Yes, it is.
And this be marked as the next one that exists, Your Honor?
Yes.
Exhibit 66 on Mark Turner.
With the court's permission, may I just be voted?
Yes.
And that particular location, what area of the bank is depicted on the left-hand side of the screen there?
The parking lot area, which exits out onto Shetland Street.
One moment, Your Honor. I want to ask you a question about that 124A Dorchester Street address. Any law department was located on what floor?
It's on the third floor.
And as far as the first floor, was it a residence or was there a business located there?
The first floor of that address was a commercial business.
And what was the name of the commercial business?
Yoberry.
And as far as Yo Berry goes, what steps, if any, were taken to determine if that particular location had any surveillance or security equipment?
It was determined that they had interior surveillance cameras, and that video was downloaded.
And what was the vantage point of the cameras inside of Yo Berry?
It would face out to Dorchester Street.
Yeah, just accessing a clip from Exhibit 1 that's titled the Yo Berry folder. Have you had an opportunity to review this clip prior to today?
I have, yes.
And I'm just going to show you what's labeled number 4, or it's the third clip in a sequence of 4. And do you recognize the time frame?
Yes.
And what time is that?
5:22 a.m.
And fair to say that with respect to the earlier two clips, they show a progression incrementally leading up to 5:22 a.m.?
Yes.
We have one more.
Yes.
In the third clip I'm showing, as near the end of the clip, what time does it display on the monitor?
5:24 a.m.
And were steps taken to verify the accuracy of the Yo Berry video?
Yes.
Was it accurate?
Yes, it was.
As that third clip ends at 5:24, I'm going to play the last clip in this sequence. And what time does this clip start, sir?
7:57 a.m.
And it runs through to what time, sir?
7:59 a.m.
And relative to that gap in between 5:24 and 7:59, were you or anyone related to this investigation able to retrieve any video from Yo Berry in between those times?
No.
And just going back to the third clip, sir, I just want you to describe, if you would, what's displayed on the monitor. What is the vantage point that's displayed right here?
Facing from the rear of 124 Dorchester Street, looking out towards Dorchester Street.
So would this be the front door right here where I'm pointing to of the Yo Berry business?
Yes, it would.
Now, subsequent to the collection of the video that you've just described, you had the opportunity to review video from 5 different banks.
Yes.
The locations that you just described, Telegraph Street, the Bells Market on Dorchester Street, and also Casper Funeral Home on Dorchester Street.
Yes.
Were any steps taken, sir, or what steps, if any, were taken to review or retrieve any traffic department video?
Traffic cameras were reviewed, and when there was any relevant data related to the investigation, they were then retrieved.
And let me ask you this, was any additional canvassing done, not limited to the South Boston section of the city, to retrieve or to try and locate additional video footage in the time frame that you testified to?
Yes.
And would that include the Rosendale section of Boston on Washington Street, roughly from Enneking Parkway, heading down towards Rosendale Square? That would include Metropolitan Avenue and Albano Streets.
Yes.
Excuse me, what streets?
Metropolitan Avenue and Albano Street.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bass, I didn't see it, that last street.
Albano, A-L-B-A-N.
Okay, thank you.
Detective Sheehan, I'm going to access exhibit number 1 again. And first of all, I'm going to ask you, do you recognize what section of the city is displayed on that monitor?
Yes.
And what do you see there, sir?
That's the area of Cleary Square, Hyde Park Ave, and River Street,
It's facing in what direction, sir?
facing in the direction of Dedham.
And what type of camera, or what type of footage was retrieved from this camera?
That was a traffic camera that identifies or captures a vehicle, a black Jeep Cherokee, traveling in the direction of Gordon Ave.
But let me ask you this, you see the timestamp here, July 23rd at 7:05:04?
Yes.
And what steps were taken to verify the accuracy of that time?
The timestamps, the same test was done comparing the timestamp provided by the traffic cameras.
And was this an accurate time?
Yes, it was.
And at least right there at 7:05 and 12 seconds, is there a vehicle heading in the direction of Gordon Avenue?
Yes, there is.
And what type of vehicle does that appear to be?
It appears to be a black Jeep Cherokee.
And what, if anything, is affixed to the rear window?
In the lower left-hand corner of the rear window, there appears to be a sticker.
And it's traveling in what direction, sir?
The direction of Gordon Ave.
Do you recognize the vantage point depicted on that particular video displayed on the monitor, sir?
Yes.
And what do you see there?
Traffic cameras located at River Street and Gordon Ave, facing in the direction of Enneking Parkway, the Stony Brook Reservation.
And do you see the time, 7:05:06?
Yes.
And what steps, if any, were taken to verify the accuracy of the time?
Comparing that time with the accurate time based on a cellular phone.
And was it an accurate timestamp?
Yes, it was.
And at 7:05:24, do you see a vehicle there, sir?
Yes.
What direction is it heading in?
It's heading in the direction of Enneking Parkway and the Stony Brook Reservation.
And what kind of vehicle do you see depicted on the monitor at 7:05:24?
It also appears to be a black Jeep Cherokee with a sticker located in the lower left-hand rear windshield corner.
Are you familiar with the area, the intersection of Metropolitan Avenue and Washington Street in the Rosedale section of Boston?
Yes.
And what's located, as you travel inbound towards Rosendale Square, what's located on the left-hand side of the corner of Metropolitan Avenue and Washington Street?
A gas station.
And just generally, sir, do you recognize what's depicted on the monitor right now?
Yes.
And what do you see there?
That's Washington Street looking up in the direction of Turtle Pond Parkway.
And do you see the timestamp, 7:19:57?
Yes.
Now, at 7:20:06, at least as it's depicted on this video, do you see a vehicle right in the neighborhood of where it says Channel 4?
Yes.
And what kind of vehicle do you see there, sir?
It appears to be a black Jeep Cherokee.
Okay. Were steps taken to verify the accuracy of this particular video?
Yes, they were.
And what were the results?
It was determined that video was approximately 40 minutes slow from the actual time.
Okay. And was the same test used to test it against actual time?
Yes.
In this particular location, this gas station, was it equipped with more than one camera looking out towards Washington Street?
Yes.
And showing you now what vantage point is captured on the monitor right now, at least as it's depicted at 7:20:09.
From the bays of the gas station facing out towards the intersection of Washington Street and Albano Street.
Albano or Metropolitan?
I'm sorry, Metropolitan Ave.
And just showing you, asking you to comment, what type of vehicle do you see in the upper right-hand corner, sir?
It appears to be a black Jeep Cherokee.
And are you familiar, based on your role in the investigation, with where Best of Boston Gas is located?
Yes.
Where is it located?
Washington Street and Albano Street.
In which direction, the vehicle you just described, which direction is that traveling in?
It's traveling in the direction of Best of Boston Gas.
And lastly, this third vantage point I'm putting up on the monitor, at least as it's depicted as 7:20 and 12 seconds. What vantage point is depicted there, sir?
Facing the intersection of Washington Street and Metropolitan Ave.
Is that from the same gas station?
Yes.
And what vehicle do you see right behind where it's stamped 7/20/14?
It appears to be a black Jeep Cherokee with a sticker located in the lower left-hand corner of the rear windshield.
And what direction is it traveling in, sir?
In the direction of Washington Street and Albano Street.
Accessing the folder labeled MVP Liquors from Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize what's depicted on the screen right now, sir?
Yes.
And what do you see there?
That's the front of MVP Liquors facing towards the intersection of Washington Street and Albano Street, where Best of Boston Gas is located.
And as you come down Washington Street, is the Best of Boston located on the left or the right-hand side?
On the right-hand side.
So at least as it's captured on this particular, on the monitor right now, is where I'm pointing right now, what's located right here,
That's Best of Boston Gas.
along the top of the screen.
Yes.
Do you see where it's timestamped July 23rd, 2013, 8 o'clock, 07 a.m.?
Yes.
What steps were taken to verify the accuracy of that time, sir?
The same test was conducted, and the time was determined to be slow, I believe, by about a minute or 2 minutes.
And at 8 o'clock and 27 seconds, towards the upper right-hand corner, is there a vehicle depicted on the monitor?
Yes.
And what type of vehicle do you see there, sir?
It appears to be a black Jeep Cherokee with a sticker located in the lower left-hand corner of the rear windshield.
And which direction was that vehicle coming from?
Coming from the direction of Washington Street and Metropolitan Avenue.
Where the other gas station was located?
Yes.
And where do you see the vehicle turn into at, as of 8 o'clock and 30 seconds?
It's pulling into Best of Boston Gas.
What is located, did you learn what is located, if you were to watch, first of all, does Best of Boston Gas just sell gas?
No.
What else is located
They
there?
have a small variety type store inside.
Okay. And if you were to walk out of the variety store, so you're looking directly across Washington Street almost, what's located across the street there?
At a home.
And at some point during the investigation, did you meet with or learn of an individual who lived in that home?
Yes.
I had asked asked you before lunch, sir, some questions about your whereabouts on July 23rd of 2013, and it turned into July 24th. Do you remember that?
Yes.
At some point, do you remember telling the jury that you were in the area of Sterling Square in South Boston?
Yes,
Is there a housing development located there?
there is.
What housing development is
The
located?
Mary Ellen McCormick Housing Development.
And are you familiar, based on the years that you've been working for the Boston Police Department, are you familiar with the lower end of Columbia Road in the area of Boston Street?
Yes.
What major thoroughfares intersect in that area of the city?
Dorchester Ave, Boston Street, Dorchester Street, Southampton Street.
And if you backed it up before you reached the areas that you described, and I'm talking about where Columbia Road almost turns into Boston Street,
Yes.
what major thoroughfares intersect in that area?
So before Columbia Road, are you talking, Andrew Square, I'm sorry, Eddie Edwards Square, which is Mass Ave, Dorchester Ave, Boston Street, Mass Ave, Columbia Road, East Cottage Street.
Okay, Detective Sheehan, I'm accessing a folder labeled DHS cameras from exhibit number 1. Do you recognize the intersection that's captured on that video?
Yes.
On the still. Step down, please. And could you just describe the streets depicted on the monitor as they appear right there?
This street in the top middle portion is Mass Ave. Down this end is East Cottage Street. This is going in the direction of Boston Street, leading into Andrew Square. And to your right is Columbia Road.
And let me ask you this: if you were to, where you just pointed down Mass Ave, where is the Metro Credit Union in relation to the area where you just pointed?
An eighth of a mile down on the left-hand side.
As the video stopped at about 8:17, 57 a.m., I just want to direct your attention to this vehicle right here. What type of vehicle does that appear to be?
That appears to be a marked Boston Police Cruiser.
And I want you to look at the monitor for the next vehicle traveling in the same direction as the Boston police car, okay? And almost in the place where the police car just was moving down Boston Street, what type of vehicle do you see there, sir?
It appears to be a black Jeep Cherokee
Heading in what direction?
in the direction of Andrew Square.
And Sterling Square, you went there for what purpose on July 23rd, 2013?
To conduct an evidentiary canvass and to locate the exact location where a vehicle had been found burning around 8:37 a.m. on July 23rd, 2013.
Where this car appears right here on the monitor, sir, where this car appears right here, how far away is that from Sterling Square where you went on July 23rd of 2013?
Approximately a half a mile.
I'm just going to let this video run slightly. Right there, sir, at 8:18:02, can you still see the vehicle that you just described for the jurors?
Yes.
And what is the vantage point of the vehicle you have in that particular still that's up on the monitor right now?
The rear windshield and cargo area of the vehicle.
And what, if anything, can you see relative to the rear windshield area on the vehicle that you described?
What appears to be a sticker located in the lower left-hand corner of the rear windshield.
Directing your attention to the South Boston section of the city, you just described this particular intersection, Columbia Road, was it East or West Cottage?
East Cottage.
East Cottage and Massachusetts Avenue and Boston Street.
Yes.
If you were to follow the direction of the vehicle that you just described, the direction it's heading in, where would that take you in the city, sir?
Continuing on Boston Street, it would bring you right into Andrews Square.
Okay. And are you familiar with the area of Dorchester Avenue in and around Andrews Square?
Yes.
Are you familiar with a Tedeschi's located at 566 Dorchester Avenue?
Yes.
Is your familiarity with that location based on your role in part on this particular investigation?
Yes.
And how far is the Tedeschi's from where that car is located right now, the one at 566 Dorchester Avenue?
A little over a half a mile.
And as part of this investigation, were any efforts made, or did anyone speak to a owner or a manager of that particular Tedeschi's?
Yes.
What steps were made, if any, to retrieve any surveillance video from that particular location?
An individual was brought in who maintains the security system for Tedeschi's, Mr. Dave Chubb, and he was able to download the video surveillance during a specific time frame for Tedeschi's.
What time frame was that, Detective Sheehan?
From 8 a.m. until 10 a.m.
On what day?
On July 23rd, 2013.
Now, relative to this investigation, are you aware of two businesses located on Old Colony Ave, one called Rotary Liquors, the other called Rotary Variety?
Yes.
And were any steps taken to talk to anyone, interview anyone who worked in either of those locations as of July 23rd or on July 23rd, 2013?
Yes.
In what establishment? The Rotary Liquors, the Rotary Variety, or both?
Both. Attempts were made to contact and speak to individuals working in both of those locations on that date.
And what were the results?
We spoke with the manager and an employee of Rotary Variety who provided information relative to the investigation.
And were any steps made to retrieve any type of video surveillance or security footage from either of those locations, the Rotary Liquors and Rotary Variety?
Yes.
Was footage recovered?
Yes, it was.
For what time frame, sir?
From approximately, I believe, 8 a.m. until about 11 a.m. on July 23rd, 2013.
Those particular locations, the Tedeschi's, Rotary Liquor, and Rotary Variety, how far are they from the area you went to at some point on July 23rd, 2013, on Sterling Square in South Boston?
Approximately an eighth of a mile.
Okay. And one last question regarding that time frame. Are you familiar with the Divine Way section of South Boston?
Yes.
And in particular, are you familiar with the lower end of that street as you near Dorchester Avenue?
Yes.
And if you were on Divine Way walking down Divine Way towards Dorchester Avenue, are there any businesses located on the right-hand side?
Yes, there is.
What kind of businesses are located on the right-hand side?
Automotive repair shop is located on the right-hand side.
Okay. And were any steps taken either on or shortly after July 23rd of 2013 to speak with anyone who worked in that automotive or auto repair shop?
Yes.
Were any steps made to try and retrieve any video footage from that particular location?
Yes.
And was that in the aftermath of July 23rd, 2013, Detective Sheehan?
Yes.
And accessing the folder labeled Divine Way from Exhibit Number 1, have you seen this video before, sir?
Yes, I have.
ask you this, Detective Sheehan. Right there up in the monitor, it's stamped July 23rd, 2013 at 8:30:08 a.m. Do you recognize the vantage point that's captured on the monitor?
Yes.
And what do you see there, sir?
That is facing from the auto repair shop in the direction of Logan Way.
So if an individual were standing right there looking in that direction, would their back be towards Dorchester Avenue?
Yes, it would.
And direct your attention in this what's captured or displayed on the monitor right now. You see a vehicle right here, almost in the middle of the monitor.
Yes.
And what type of vehicle does that appear to be?
It appears to be a black Jeep Cherokee.
And what direction, as I just played the video forward, now at 8:30:11 in 11 seconds, which direction is the vehicle heading towards?
Heading in the direction of Logan Way.
Okay. And if one were on Logan Way, fair to say that the first street on the right would be O'Callahan Way,
Yes.
and you would now be in the Mary McCormick Housing Development?
Yes.
What is the next street up on the right after O'Callahan Way?
Off of Logan.
Off of Logan.
On the right would be Sterling.
And is the vehicle heading in the direction of Sterling Square at 8:30 a.m. in 11 seconds?
Yes.
Were steps taken to verify the accuracy of the timestamp on this particular video, sir?
Yes.
How was that accomplished?
The same test was conducted and the timestamp was determined to be accurate.
You had said before lunch, when you were at the courthouse on July 23rd of 2013, that you had received some information regarding a missing persons report and an arson of a motor vehicle.
Yes.
Based on your role in the investigation, what time was the arson of motor vehicle reported on July 23rd of 2013?
I believe the 911 call was at 8:37 a.m.
So that would be about 7 minutes after that this vehicle depicted on the Divine Way video is captured.
Yes.
And just showing you this, what's been marked exhibit number 17, do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph, sir?
Yes.
And what do you see there?
It's a still photo from that same surveillance video capturing what appears to be a black Jeep Cherokee with a sticker located in the lower left-hand corner of the rear windshield.
So this particular photograph is from the auto body shop security system on Divine Way?
Yes.
And what's the time that's captured on this particular still, sir?
The time on this still is 8:30:11.
Thank you, Detective. I want to show you a series of 3 photographs that have been marked B, C, and D for identification purposes, Detective, and ask you if you recognize what's depicted in those photographs.
Yes.
So what do you see there, sir?
Items that were recovered from the vehicle that was determined having been registered to Amy Lord, which was a 2001 black Jeep Cherokee.
And those items that appear in those photographs, they were collected from what part of the vehicle, sir?
From the passenger compartment of the vehicle.
And that took place when?
The search warrant on the vehicle?
Not the search warrant. Was there a processing that took place of that vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And roughly when did that take place, sir?
I believe it was July 26th.
Okay. And as part of the processing of the vehicle, were certain items photographed?
Yes.
And would that include the items included which previously been marked B, C, and D for identification?
Yes.
Are these fair and accurate representations of those items, sir?
Yes.
Maybe you now mark, Your Honor.
What was previously D for identification and now B? What was previously D for identification and now B submitted 67, Your Honor? What was D for identification and now B submitted 68? And what was D for identification and now B submitted 69?
I'm going to show you a bag. If you need me to open it up and show you the contents, I'll be happy to, but could you just take a look at the bag and ask me if you recognize, or tell me if you recognize the markings on the outside of that bag, sir?
Yes.
And what do you recognize this bag and its contents to be?
Items recovered from the vehicle previously identified as being registered to Amy Lord.
And I just want to show you this photograph that's been just marked 69, exhibit number 69 in this case. Exhibit number 69, is that what's contained in this bag that's E for identification?
Yes.
And again, this was collected as part of the processing of the motor vehicle?
Yes.
May this be marked as the next numbered exhibit, Your Honor?
What was previously D for identification? Now, exhibit number 7, Your Honor.
Detective Sheehan, you've testified today regarding a number of different locations and various clips of video. At least at this point in the did you take steps to verify all video that was collected relative to this investigation?
Verify times, the accuracy? Yes.
Yes. Detective Sheehan, do you recognize what's depicted on this particular board?
Yes.
And generally, what are the dates that are captured on this particular board, sir?
July 23rd, 2013, and Wednesday, July 24th, 2013.
And in a general way, does this board capture and describe or list out where certain video and where certain events occurred on those days?
Yes.
And have you had the opportunity to review this particular board as it's put together in a timeline fashion?
Yes.
And I want to direct your attention to, let me ask the court this. May this be marked for identification purposes?
Your Honor, could I just look at it again? Absolutely.
I for identification.
Let's bring it over here.
Detective Sheehan, as part of the investigation, did you have the opportunity to review certain video from the Rotary Variety and Rotary Liquor establishments that I asked you about a few months ago?
Yes, I did.
And were you able to test the accuracy or check the accuracy of the video that was collected from those two locations?
Yes.
And what were the results?
Rotary Variety and Rotary Liquors, the timestamp on the video was approximately 50 minutes slow.
And are those two locations marked on this board, which has been marked I for identification?
Yes.
And would you just be kind enough, where it's labeled Rotary Liquors and Rotary Variety, to write in 50 minutes slow? And directing your attention to the Telegraph Street video that I asked you about a few moments ago. Did you have the opportunity to check the accuracy of that camera?
Yes.
And you said it was 5 minutes fast?
Yes.
And could you just make that notation where it says Telegraph Street at number 24 on this board? Now, as part of your investigation, did you have the opportunity at various points to visit the Old Colony section of the City of Boston?
Yes.
And I just want to show you for a moment what's been marked exhibit number 4 in this case. Do you recognize the locations that are depicted on that particular board, sir?
Yes.
And starting in the lower left-hand corner, do you see a photograph of Domino's Pizza and wide-angle security?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the location of the Hess gas station on Old Colony Avenue as well?
Yes, I am.
Now, relative to those two locations that I just asked you about, Detective Sheehan, what steps, if any, were taken to retrieve video or to see if any video existed at those two locations?
The video was retrieved from the Domino's and wide-angle security, and as far as the Hess gas station, it was required that the corporate security download video for us.
And let me ask you this, relative to the Domino's located on Old Colony Avenue in South Boston, what steps, if any, were taken to verify the accuracy of the timestamp on the video?
Test was conducted to determine the accuracy of the timestamp, and it was determined to be approximately 10 minutes slow.
And would you be kind enough to mark what's been marked I for identification on the entry for Domino's Pizza, 10 minutes slow? And the last question, or series of questions, relative to the Hess gas station, was any video retrieved from the Hess gas station on Old Colony Avenue?
Yes.
And were any steps taken to verify the accuracy of the timestamp on that video?
Yes.
And what was the result?
The result was that the timestamp on the video from the Hess gas station was approximately 10 minutes slow as well.
And if you'd be kind enough, you just mark that on what's been marked I for identification on the entry for Hess. Several moments, Your Honor.
Yes.
We're going to continue with the cross-examination. Let's get the sheet tomorrow at 9 o'clock, so that'll end the court date of 5 minutes early. What I want to tell you about is tomorrow's schedule. From time to time during the course of the trial, I have to have a hearing with the lawyers that's outside your presence. Tomorrow is one of those occasions, but rather than have you wait around for me and all that, we'll have that hearing at 2 o'clock. So we're going to have court from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, but you're not going to be involved in it. So that means we're going to have a day tomorrow for your purposes. So please do like you did today, and I appreciate your prompt arrival today. We try to get here right a little bit before 9 o'clock. We'll have continuation of the detention sheet, and you folks will go from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and then we'll have a hearing outside the court. Okay? So please remember I told you,